Hello, fellow YouTubers, and welcome back to Power Up Gamers. I'm Jevin D&D, the Disabled DM, and this video is the RPG a Day video response for week 1, and it's a bit late coming out due to real life issues. But with me tonight, I have Mary Chris, one of my regular players, and an admin for the Power Up Gamers community. Hey, so say hello, Mary.
Hello.
Awesome. Give me just a second. Here are my pages loading up for the RPG a Day questions.
Sure thing.
Okay, so we will be doing the first 7 questions, and we will try to keep our answers as brief as possible. So, the first question is regarding dice. Prefer real dice applications, and such as Bones, Dice Stream, and Iceless, and how do we prefer to roll? For me, I prefer using one of the online dice rollers such as Bones. Mostly because of 2 reasons. First, a lot of my gaming is online. I like the option of having it to where the players who are using the same app can see the dice rolls. And the second reason is because my desk that I record at is so packed that there really isn't room to roll physical dice.
Yeah, I enjoy physical dice, but I prefer using Roll20 for all my rollings because, well, one, I'm pretty much doing a lot of online stuff, and Roll20 can make macros, so all you have to do is make sure you remember to update ever so often, so that way your numbers come out correctly, and along the lines of like making sure that people are can see rolls or something, or at least are being honest about their rolls. Like, even if people can't see it, like especially if I'm in people are using the dice stream majigger, and I'm over here using Roll20 because I just have my macros all ready to go. And if anyone wants to question me on guessing a roll, then I can just be like, screen share, ta-da! Look, here's the record of all my rolls.
One of the things I don't like about most online rollers is they seem to roll lower than physical dice.
Or they're inconsistent. You're either doing horribly forever or really good forever. There's not a balance of in between.
Yeah, whereas with the physical dice, you get more of that option. Now, if I am playing a live game, whether it's face-to-face, in-person, sitting around a table, I prefer physical dice.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so the next question, number 2, is the best game session since August 2016.
15, yep. Since last year. That was a tough one. I had to really think rapidly, and I think the one that caused me the most rage and anger and sadness all at the same time was a game about a month or 2 ago with Chris. I'm not going to attempt his last name, but anyways, I've been playing in his Strahd campaign for a while now, and this particular one of the player's characters got killed. My character had just started really bonding with that person, and then you got this racist guy who's just like a total jerk, and she gives herself up like, here, just take me. We don't need to make this any worse. And he's like, sure, but after I hit him, only to roll a crit. And the guy did just enough damage to insta-kill him. So it was like no death saving throws either. And he's like, well, guys, I'm just going to end the session right there. And I like just freaked out. Just like, what? No! Like, I was so mad and so angry. And, it was a wonderful session in a way, because it got that kind of reaction from me. But it was just like, holy cow, that was awful. But it was definitely probably one of the better sessions I've been in this year.
Yeah, that's really a hard question to answer, because we have a lot of really good sessions. I think my best game session that I enjoyed playing in the most was Drake Warren's session that we did with Dragon Grin, and where we all played Tomb Hearts. Mm-hmm. It was just really fun, and Bill Van, he's a great HGM, and I don't get to play very often, and playing something unique like a Tomb Heart made it really memorable. But as a DM, I would say my favorite session since last year was when Yumi and I'm wanting to say Christian was with us, and we did the review for the Microscope PDF.
Chris, yeah. Chris. The same guy. I can't remember his last name. I know it starts with a V. Chris V.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed the Microscope system and
the Microscope system. Yeah,
setting it up.
It's funny that you say that's your best, because that one, every time I look back on it, it was fun. But man, there was just nothing but anxiety there for me. It's just like,
yeah.
What am I doing?
But that's to kind of be expected, because you didn't know the system, and
I think that's kind of the thing, though. It's like
you were kind of going into it cold. But it's going to be interesting to see how that develops in the future. Because I'm using it to set up campaigns. I'm doing one-shots with it. So
and suddenly Terry doesn't play any of Darren's campaigns anymore.
Yeah.
No, I'll get over it one day. Hopefully.
Yeah, it just takes a couple times using it to really get a good feel for it. Okay, the third question is character moment you are proudest of.
Trying to rack in my head. There's a few really jump out. But which one to choose?
Well, while you think of that, I'm thinking back, and I think the one I would be proudest of was when I played the Rain Anus. And it was a second edition campaign, and that was the character that I shared with you, or maybe that he had this burning desire to know things and looked at necrotic texts that he shouldn't have, and he basically was studying to be a necromancer, and he worked for this cult that was hunting the group. And for 6 months, I played it off as he was part of the group, and it's really good guy that was doing his best to help the group, but things just never quite worked out. And the whole time he was Ellen and the Colt were to find the group and doing little things to hinder the group, like putting birds under the mount's saddles, loosening saddle buckles, or things like that. So that's probably the proudest moment for a character that I've had, because I played it off so well that no one guessed it for 6 months.
Nice. Yeah, alright, I think I know which one I'm going to go with. So, my character, Araya, is this fallen angel. I played with her lots and lots, to the point where, like, she's just had failures after failures after failures, just because, whether due to a DM who's like, I'm just going to railroad this and take her words literally and make it go horribly wrong, or just a lot of bad rolls. And perhaps just a lot of stupid things that I would say as a new player, because she was one of my first characters. And so just kind of learning how to role play, and it's like, well, my character will do this. Well, there's consequences if your character goes and kills people. But when I got in the OSG, I joined Cody Martin's game, and I got to play her. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to just kind of continue her story. It got to a point where he was like, Mary, your character needs to have her moment. And it's kind of like, okay. And don't worry, I got an idea. We're going to run with it. So we get into the game, and character tells her, you get to be in charge of the next mission. And for me and her, it's like, wait, what? Ryan in charge? This is not a good idea. Things go horribly wrong when she's in charge, because I don't know how to role play that very well. And so it was kind of like this panic. Only for, long story short, it turned out remarkably well. It was kind of a two-parter where she goes on this mission to take care of goblins. She actually has a history of initiating a massacre among goblins, so it was already kind of a, oh shoot, I get to try and deal with goblins again. Great, but it went well. And then next session, they had to go deal with this dragon.
Awesome.
These orcs, in which they were enslaved to this dragon, and she was able to set them free by just using the dragon's head when they killed it to be like, you're free. And it was kind of like this moment of like, I accomplished that. She accomplished that. Oh my gosh! And just felt amazing for her. And so,
awesome. Okay, question 5 is, what story does your group tell about your character?
I think we skipped over 4. Most impressive thing another's character did.
Oh, yes, we did. Thanks for catching that. So number 4, most impressive thing another characters did. Oh, wow.
I'm like, I could start listing names of just players who make their characters all the time do amazing things. But I think we'll go way, way back to when I started the online thing. It was Roll20. And
that's a hard one to pick for me, because I normally DM, so like everyone does amazing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are 2 in particular that stand out in my mind. One of them is from the Provokers campaign that I enjoy watching, in which Tim Cooney played a dwarf character named Durgan Blood Mountain,
Mm-hmm.
who went into another character because he was playing a cleric or a paladin, and turned his back with 2 hit points left on a black dragon, took an attack of opportunity, and cast a healing spell on one of his companions to save their life. So that to me was pretty amazing. another one that I really enjoyed or that stands out to me is again in a second edition campaign, and I was playing in a, a player. We had come across this thicket that had a bunch of pixies and sprites in it, and they were at war with it. And one a barbarian and ran right down the middle of these two groups, shooting in little dart arrows at each other, taking all the hits so that we could run through safely.
Oh, okay.
And that he ends up collapsing on the other side because of how much damage he did. And it ended up killing his character, and then he made a new one to bring in. So that was pretty amazing. Just that whole setup. So, how about you? Maybe is there like one, maybe two quick things that stand out in your mind that someone else has done?
Goodness, I remember playing with a guy who played this drow, and he played him so well, so charismatically. It was insane. Like, I guess I'll just use him only and give two examples. One which was fairly funny, one that was funny, but like for our characters, horrible. The first being the other characters were all in a room checking out scrolls that we found. Of course, like, what's going to happen if you check out unidentified scrolls? Something's going to be cursed. Something's going to blow up. Who knows? And sure enough, we open up the fourth scroll and boom, pyroclasm. And so, yeah, we're inside an inn when we did this, and up comes the innkeeper, and he's just like racing the room, going, "Oh my gosh, what did you do?" And without a second thought, the drow who is the one holding like the remains of hard papers, like, well, apparently that wasn't a letter from my aunt. And the innkeeper's just like, "Why were you reading scrolls in my inn?" And again, just like without missing a beat, he's like, "Those," pointing to the ones remaining on the floor, "are scrolls. This was a letter," and was able to like turn the tide in our favor. So he was like, "Okay, I guess you had a bad letter from someone," and like innocent, but
awesome.
Like he was really quick. And then there's this time when the Goliath is trying to buy a ram so we can slaughter it for his god, and like. We're getting jerked around with an outrageous price for it, and the player decides to have his character run up and basically con with the merchant. But like, it was just one of those where how he made it work. He was always on point with making his character do these very manipulative, charismatic things, and yeah, I was like, I wish I could be that witty. I'm not.
Okay. So, question 5 is, what story does your group tell about your character?
That's an odd one, at least to me. I might not be seeing it in the same way. Like, are we going for like, what would other people say about your character or characters?
Yeah. What does your group say about them? Kind of, what do they talk about them?
Okay, well, I'll go through.
I know. One for you that we often talk about is Gaia.
Yeah, Gaia's crazy and devoted, passionate. Gaia is a zealot, or maybe, I don't know. She's very much a religious fanatic. But I think if people were to talk about her behind her back, they'd say she's crazy. She loves her God.
Yeah. We often talk about like how quirky she is.
Definitely quirky. Yeah.
So that would be probably the one I would say for you. For me, I I think the one that people tend to talk about the most is when I portray a Bahamut in a session. It's just like how I do the voice acting and
I was obviously thinking about Black Meg, but I bet.
yeah, Black makes another one, but I think the one I've heard the most is with Bahamut.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to really enjoy when I use him in a session.
Indeed. No, he was great.
So what do you think your character and kind of what people say about it is?
Oh,
I kind of told you what I think is probably the most commonly talked about one.
yeah, like that's actually kind of one of the interesting things when I think about it now, where it's like I don't know if people like other than like in game really talk about my character. So it's like this. I guess I'll bring up Malinee. I think a lot of people like they comment. Yeah. People say that she's very normal, very like what you'd expect in an average person going about an adventure suddenly, where
Yeah.
she's not adventure by trade, and suddenly she's a primordial. And it's like, oh, okay, right, and
Yeah, that was an awesome campaign.
yeah,
And
people
one
find
of these days, I hope to finish it.
hopefully we'll see. But yeah, I think I've had people comment about how normal she is because, yeah, compared to all my other characters, they have all these crazy quirks and and problems and flaws, and she's just this girl who happened to find out via the DM that she is a primordial.
Okay, the next question is most amazing thing a game group did for their community. That's a tough one because there's a lot of good game groups that have done a lot of amazing things. I know the RPG Brigade has raised money for people who needed a surgery. I know they help support Child's Play charity every year when they do Brigade Con. So that's, to me, that's probably the most amazing thing that's actually been accomplished is for stuff in the works and that people are striving to accomplish. I believe the Power Up Gamers
Yeah,
community
that was the thought that was
is probably an amazing thing. And I'm not just saying that because I helped found it and I kind of run it,
well,
but because to me, promoting accessibility for people with special needs, and teaching the RPG community as a whole how to include these people in their games and sessions. It's just something that can't be replaced.
yeah, that was well, I was gonna say because as I'm racking my brain over here, I'm like, man, I really don't keep up much on what's happening in the various groups. Like, I feel bad where it was, I guess, last week that you and Richard mentioned, it's like, oh yeah, the RPGade's doing game a day kind of thing, and the brigade, blah. And they're doing questions too, and I'm like, oh, they are, and it's just like because I just don't keep up with it as much, especially when I have like a lot of games happening. I'm less out of the forums because it's like I don't want to keep looking for games when I'm already busy.
It can
But
be hard
Pug
to
came to mind.
keep up.
But Pug did come to mind because it's like you are going about trying to bring awareness, and that's a very good thing. And trying to community where people who do have special needs or a form of disability that may make it difficult to play in what would be considered, I guess, a normal game or whatnot. We're trying to make it where we can bring it and being all inclusive for the different needs that are out there.
Awesome. So our last question for this video is, what aspect of RPGs has had the biggest effect on you?
I think for me, it is putting myself out there. Like I remember when I first started doing the online thing. It like if you remember how I was reacting in that microscope,
Yeah.
that was very similar to how I acted when I was first doing the online stuff because I didn't have my security blanket, I didn't have my friends, I didn't have my husband there coaching me through, playing with me, that safe environment. Essentially, it was I really want to play, but everyone else is too busy now in real life. So let's see if there's an online thing. There is an online thing. Okay, let's see if I can join a group. Wow, this group's taking me in. Okay, what if I fail? Like, what if I'm a bad player with them or something? Like, there's all that anxiety that comes up, and so this has really helped me push out to be a little like, let's try something new. Let's make new friends. Let's role play and expand our horizons in the various characters that I can create. And so,
Awesome. So that's kind of covered the first 7 questions. And so me and Mary have a session to get it to. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video and our responses, and we look forward to answering the rest of them in future videos. So until next time, may the dice always roll in your favor.